Alright guys, here we are for Monaco. This is a continuation of my F1 2013 online league for the Australian Racing League. And here we are after the Christmas break here in Monaco. Had a good showing in qualifying, getting third in dry conditions, but now the cat has been thrown amongst the pigeons. It's now raining and we have no idea what this is going to cause in terms of strategy or race pace amongst the whole field. So this is going to be some crazy start. I'm putting it down into lean to minimize the wheel spin off the line, but it doesn't seem to have helped. We've been absolutely mugged into turn one, and now we've actually been hit up the arse, and I've got to chuck it into reverse to avoid that wall there. Otherwise, I would have lost my entire front wing. So going for safety first there, chucking it into reverse. I'll lose all the positions in the field, but I've still got a damage-free car. So now I can continue on and hopefully pick my way through the field. It's going to be very tough. Monaco is the toughest track on the F1 calendar to overtake, but since Monaco it's 100% race, I've got a lot of time to make up the time back. So looking forward to the challenge. There will be a few safety cars. I can guarantee that. It's Monaco. This track is really tough in the dry to finish, let alone the wet. So I'll predict about maybe 2 safety cars in this race. I think you guys should let me know how many safety cars there will be in this race. It'll be a nice competition to see who gets it right. So coming through to the Novell chicane, Tiametmarduk has stuffed that up and cut the chicane. Looks like he slowed down just enough to avoid any kind of advantage. But yeah, this is the first round after the Christmas break and New Year break. I had a bad showing in the last couple of rounds. I DNF'd in Bahrain and I disconnected in Spain. So I really need a good result here, as one of the Mercedes drivers completely stuffs up the Madcatz corner. I think he might have lost a bit of his wing, so unfortunate to him, and he's still stuck in last place. So this is the first lap done and dusted. We've gone from 3rd to 14th. Not a good start. One of the Toro Rosso drivers is lagging quite a lot, and he's forced us into the wall somehow, and thankfully we didn't get a penalty or any damage. So now we're cutting forward a couple of corners. We're back behind Tiametmarduk, who's going slow through the chicane there. Oh, not the chicane, the hairpin, and that's allowed the Mercedes driver of Jettels, or Jettels. I'm going to call him Jettels. I can't really see his name because my screen is so small. But on lap 4, the safety car has now been deployed because we've had our first DNF of the race. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Ninja Tacos who crashed out, but that's allowed me to rejoin onto the back of the pack. I thought about pitting, but I decided not to because we've only done 6 laps on these set of intermediate tyres, and the wear isn't that bad. So there's nothing really to be gained by pitting right now. So I thought I'll just stay out and just see how we fare now. So we've rejoined onto the back of the pack. A common saying in motorsport is safety car often breed more safety car periods. So we'll see what happens here. There could be a few crashes off the start with cold tyres and what have you. So it's very important to maintain temperature in your tyres, and I'm trying to do that by weaving the wheel frantically. But when these safety car periods come out, it often, interrupts your rhythm, and it often causes more crashes. So it's important to get off to a nice start off the restarts and just not to make any mistakes. Just take it easy and continue on. So now I'll be trying to do that, and it looks like Catters is getting a bit feisty there with Tiametmarduk. Alright, so one of the cars ahead has got damage, so that means they're going to be vulnerable to myself and the cars behind. And these guys are getting very feisty here. I just want to get past them as soon as possible without taking any risks. But I think I might just sit in behind and wait for something to happen. It looks like something has happened. One of the Caterham drivers is in the wall there. I'm not too sure if he's lost his entire wing. But either way, he's dropped a bunch of positions and he's probably down into last place there. So unlucky for him. That promotes us up into 11th, and now we only need one more point to get up into the points. Now cutting forward to the end of lap 7, Tiametmarduk is just struggling at this early phase of the race. He's causing a massive train behind, and if we don't get past him soon, then I think there could be a massive crash happening very soon. Tiametmarduk goes defensive. I think he might have cut the corner again. And we're going to go up the inside of Tiametmarduk, Catters, and probably Conrod. We're going to go up into fast, use the rest of our curves, and we've done a triple overtake there. I picked the right moment to attack, and there we go, from 11th up into 8th. If you didn't see my video from the other day, that triple overtake, that was it from this race. So I was pretty proud of that, and that sort of released me to pretty much run my own race. I was able to increase the pace, and now lap 15, the track is drying out. It's time for a set of dry tyres. I think I'm going to be the first in the field to do this, so I'm going to be the pioneer here. And I think it is dry enough for dry tyres to work. I've been losing just a little bit of time over the last 2 laps because the inters have been fading away, and of course the track has been drying up. So I'm going to check race director, and yes, I am the first in the field to put on the dry tyres. So this could make or break my race strategy here, as you saw in the career mode the other day. I took a few bold strategies. Some of it worked, sometimes it didn't. So hopefully this is one of those occasions where it does work and we rejoin in 8th place. So we've only lost 1 position by pitting, but I think the time that we will gain, because the track is, I think the track is fine. I think we're going to gain a ton of time here. And as we cut to lap 16, a bunch of cars are responding to my strategy call, and now I've undercut them, I've jumped them, so the strategy has worked. But that's only a couple of cars who have pitted so far, and there are still more cars who have stayed out, so we're going to jump them as well. They're going to lose a whole bunch of time as we go purple now, and still cars are staying out. And now finally, I think the field has finally refreshed itself. So there we go, we went from 8th up into 4th by pitting in early, and Why You Do This Baby has disconnected, and I think he actually crashed just a few moments ago. So now we have our second safety car period of the day, and this race has really turned on its head in the last couple of laps. So the race was looking pretty dire a couple of laps ago, but now I'm well and truly in the game now. I've got a freshish set of prime tyres, and now I'm at the front of the grid. So now I can just concentrate on getting past a few of these lap cars who are directly in front of me. That's Jettles, and in front of him is Saggy Kid, who is in 3rd place. So he's a genuine contender for the championship, so I'll be looking to get in front of Saggy, and hopefully Jettles gets out of the way as soon as possible. I'm going to use up all my curves on the run-up to the start of this lap. There's actually more cars than that. That's Conrod, who's a lap down as well, so he's not had a good race either. So there we go, up into 4th place on lap 24. There's still such a long way to go in this race, and we've already had 2 safety car periods. So I think my prediction of 2 safety car periods won't be enough. I think there may even be 3 or maybe even 4. So now cutting to lap 26, I finally got back into the rhythm and into the groove again, and now I'm starting to make inroads on Saggy, who's put on the super soft tyres for this stint, and I think they are actually starting to go off a little bit after a couple of laps. So we'll be looking to get in front of Saggy as soon as possible, because the 2 leaders have actually stretched out quite a big gap over Saggy, who goes to Jehovah and back on that first corner there. So nice corner cuts there, Saggy. But we'll be looking to get past him, maybe into turn 1. We're going to go round the outside. Is there enough room and enough traction? No, there isn't. There's just enough of a margin for Saggy to maintain 3rd place. So we'll be sitting in behind for now. He's really struggling in this phase of the race on the super soft tyres. So I think the prime tyres will probably be the tyre to be on for this race. I believe the prime tyres can last about 30 laps, whereas the super softs are about 10, maybe 15 laps from memory. I'm not too sure, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But since it did rain at the start of the race, we won't need to use both set of dry compound tyres. So I'll probably stick with the primes for the rest of the race. We'll just see how it goes, really, depending on safety car periods, whatnot. My intention is to stay on the primes for the next couple of stints. So Saggy actually makes a mistake there. We're going to go around the outside of him into the second sector split, but we're just not far along up the inside of Saggy's car, so we're going to have to settle in behind for now. And he's still struggling. It's allowed ARL VT to catch up from multiple seconds behind. And this is really frustrating, because when you're stuck behind a much slower car, if they just don't make mistakes, you really can't pass them, and it's really frustrating because it can ruin many people's races. And now I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated. I've made a few mistakes, and that one there is just a result of that chipping off a bit of my front wing. So that's going to cost us a bit of time, as Saggy actually had his controller disconnect at that moment there, and that freed me to get in front of him. So now we can finally get on with our race. 32 laps into this race, we've got some clean air again, but I've locked up into the Nouvelle chicane. I've completely titsed that up, and I've had to yield to Saggy there because I cut the corner and I tried to arrest the speed without gaining too much time, and that's meant I've dropped 3 positions in this race. So that's really frustrating, and now I've got to get past these guys once again. I think that's V2, he was stuffed up through that corner there, and now we've got around him and almost Zonky Bro, but we have to settle in behind him once again. So that's 1 position done and dusted. We've run wide through the hairpin, and we almost conceded the position to VT that we just gained, but thankfully we maintain it. So in the next 10 to 15 laps, I think we will be thinking about doing a pit stop. We've had these tyres on for at least 10-15 laps, I believe. So the tyres are going off a little bit, but I can't imagine how bad Saggy's tyres are starting on the super softs for this stint. So now he's holding up Zonky again, and we've got a nice little train here, and it's only going to be a matter of time before I think Zonky gets past him, or if Saggy pits, because he's been on this set of tyres for a very long time. I'd anticipate him to be pitting anytime soon. So now coming through on lap 34, the end of lap 34, coming into the Rascasse corner. It's still very tight between the 4 of us. There might actually be a couple cars behind VT as well, but I've got DRS on Zonky. I'm going to use up a lot of my KERS, try and sneak it up the inside, go to the outside, and Zonky might have outbraked himself. I've outbraked myself too. I chucked it into reverse to avoid slamming my front wing into that wall. Would have probably destroyed me, but thankfully, due to that little tactic, I've avoided that. And now there's been a crash here on lap 35. I think that's Zonky Bro and one of the Mercedes drivers, that's Catters, who have stuffed up through here, and Saggy Kid is waiting for a couple of cars. So maybe Saggy took out somebody, I'm not too sure, but that would indicate why he's slowing up if he's taken out someone. So now it's getting really messy. There's a massive train of cars here. I've locked up into the Nouvelle chicane, just avoided X-Catters there, and we'll continue on. I think a few cars cut the Nouvelle chicane as well, so it's very dangerous when you get in the pack like this, because everyone starts to get very frustrated, everyone gets very desperate at this phase of the race, and then when you consider that we've all got some fairly old tyres on the car, all kinds of safety just goes out the window, and I think that's Rima who's been disqualified. Jettles disconnects, and one of the cars in front of me, I think that was Catters, he actually went in for a pit stop there, so that's quite an explosion of activity just there as I lock up into the Nouvelle chicane. I had my foot on the brake the whole time trying to avoid any kind of advantage, but I still got a penalty there, which is so frustrating in this race, and I'm going to have to come in for a drive-through penalty. Once again, as you saw in career mode, just no fault of my own pretty much. I just tried to avoid any kind of advantage, but I still got the penalty, so I'll be coming in as soon as possible to serve that. But because I've lost most of my wing, I chipped off the right-hand side of my end plate and the left-hand side. That's why I was locking up so much. I didn't show the footage where I chipped off my left-hand side, but that's why I locked up over the last couple laps and why I got that penalty. But because I had most of my wing chipped off, the pit crew or the game decides to put priority over the pit stop and changing the front wing, so I'll have to come in and put on that I was going to say set of primes, but I'm going to have to come in and serve that drive-through on the very next lap, because you never know when a safety car might come out, and if you've got a drive-through penalty hanging over your head, you can't serve it during a safety car period. So I'm going to serve that as soon as possible, just get that out of the way, and then continue to get on with the rest of my race. So lap 37, there's still a long way to go in this race. I put on the set of super soft tyres because I know that I can't stretch out a set of prime tyres to the end. So it's going to be 2 stops anyway, so I might as well try and get the most out of a fresh set of super softs. And at the moment it's starting to work out. We're going purple over many laps over the course of this race, still putting in green sectors. And on lap 43 we've actually locked up when we've taken off our entire wing, just trying to gain too much time there, and I've got a little bit too greedy, and now I've lost the entire of my wing. My race is pretty much ruined, but now there's a safety car being released. I've locked up into the Nouvelle chicane. Let's just try and slow down as much as possible. I don't want another penalty, but Turdmaster destroyed his car. He's rage quit from the lobby, and there's a safety car period, which has ultimately saved my race, I think. If that safety car wouldn't have came out, everyone would have continued at full race speed, and I probably would have gone a lap down. So now everyone's going to be slowing down. I'm going to rejoin onto the back of the pack and put on a set of prime tyres, which I may be able to put on and last until the end. We'll go about 3 laps under safety car. The primes should last about 30 laps, so it's going to be a pretty big stretch to make these tyres last. So if I put the car down into lean, I preserve the rear tyres, just try not to lean on them so much, I might be able to make them last. But if there's more safety car periods down the line, then I'll obviously pit for a new set of tyres. So assuming that this race is green until the end, I might stay out. So it's going to be pretty interesting strategy-wise to see how this shapes up the entire field. And it looks like Neki, the race leader, has now been disqualified. So this has thrown the race wide open now to anyone to win it, because he was leading by a long way, and I think Sharima was in second place, and those guys were leading by so much in this race. And now the safety car has not allowed myself and who's that in front of me? Ninja Tacos. It's not allowed the lap cars to get their lap back, because the safety car didn't pick up the right leader, because the leader was disqualified. They picked up the next car behind, which was Ninja Tacos and myself. So a whole bunch of the lap cars were stuck behind the safety car, and that's essentially ruined our race. We're now a lap down compared to you know, the rest of the field who weren't lapped, and now I'm pretty much the leader in terms of the train of cars. So I'm going to pretty much push as hard as possible, try and make up as much time as possible, because if there's another safety car period, the safety car will let me through, and I'll be able to rejoin at the back of the pack. So now I'm pretty much just trying to stretch out that lead as much as possible without taking too many risks. And you know, this race is pretty much turned into a sprint race, so I'll be looking to just push as hard as possible, just burn off all the fuel, use up the tyres. And we've lost connection to Bandcamp, and we've been disconnected. Wow. That is race over. Our race and championship is potentially over. That's been the Monaco Grand Prix, guys. And wow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.